This is the new Lexus GX. Sorry about the noise. This is the world premiere of it here. So this is the Overtrail edition. So let's talk about what this is. This is a body-on-frame SUV. This is the third generation of this truck, and man, it looks really, really good. It's got these very aggressive proportions and these very aggressive body lines. First off, let's start out with the spindle grille, which has now been modified. We don't have the spindle grille going all the way down like it used to in some of the previous generations of the spindle grille. This is a little bit chunkier, man, those lights are bright, and a little bit more aggressive, and we have sort of more flow from side to side. And check out these headlights too. So this is like a real boxy, chunky kind of look. I sort of get some FJ Cruiser kind of vibes from this vehicle. Look at these over fenders. They don't go around. They've got these angles to them, and that gives them a real sort of muscular kind of look. We've also got a character line down the side of the body here too. So what is this? This is a body-on-frame vehicle. This has got one powertrain choice right now. It's a 3.4 liter V6 engine. It makes 349 horsepower. It's a twin turbo V6. And it has 479 pound-feet of torque. And this can tow 8,000 pounds. So this is a very heavy-duty vehicle. This really slots in between the RX, which is a unibody, and the LX, which is also the same platform as this, but this is a little bit smaller, a little bit shorter. We're gonna take a look at the interior in just a minute here. This comes in a couple different trim packages. This is called the Overtrail edition right now. And this is a little bit wider than the outgoing version. This is over 4 inches wider and a couple inches longer. And the regular one is about 3.5 inches wider. So it's got a little bit higher also. We have a little more ground clearance here too. And you can see that they are optimizing this for off-road capability. This is a full-time four-wheel drive vehicle. Man, it is super popular here. Full-time four-wheel drive, but it does have a traditional transfer case, so we do get high-low transfer case. Let's take a look down beneath it here too. This is a multi-link suspension design in the rear, and I believe we have adaptive dampers in here too. There's the rear, so there's a ton of cargo space back here compared to the LX. So this is, you can get this with a 3-row, but this is a 2-row. Look at the amount of cargo space back here. It is massive. It's about 4 feet of cargo space back here. There's so much space back here. And I like these lines. Sorry, we're sort of jumping around here because that's all that we can do right now. I'm gonna hop in the passenger seat right over here. So there's some very nice seats. Got some suede inserts here. These are cooled, ventilated, and also heated. And we've got a 14-inch display here and a 12.3-inch display in front of the driver. A lot of nice soft touch materials. It looks really chunky inside here too. Super comfortable. So sitting in the back, I'm 5'9". Man, I got a lot of space back here, so I got a lot of knee room, and I got pretty good headroom here too. And these seats recline. These are pretty nice seats. You can get an optional 3rd row back here, and you can get this as powered, and you can also get it as non-powered, which I think this is too. So, and compared to the LX, which I just had recently, this seems to have more backseat passenger space than the LX does, a little bit less compromised because of this 2-row design. This is super, super nice. This is gonna be a really great off-road vehicle. So you can tow up to 8,000 pounds with this, and this is really optimized as a sort of more hardcore, but still super luxury off-road kind of vehicle compared to something like the TX, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. Now, there's no pricing on this yet. We don't know exactly when it's going to be on sale, but it's presumably a little bit later this year. They haven't announced an exact date, an on-sale date quite yet. So let's talk about the powertrain real quick. This is a 3.4 liter twin turbo V6. This makes 349 horsepower and around 479 pound-feet of torque, which is quite a bit. In the future, they're going to be bringing out another version, another engine that's available, which is, I think, going to be the iForce Max, currently using the Tundra. They haven't announced any specific details on it yet, but in that we expect to see more power, probably a plug-in hybrid. And in the Hybrid Max version, it makes 579 pound-feet of torque, so it's quite a bit. Let's talk about the wheels and tires here. So We have 33-inch tires. These are all-terrain tires. It looks like we've got some open country ATs. These are from Toyos. These are on an 18-inch wheel, 33-inch, and some pretty big brakes here too. So this is a pretty big tire setup. This is pretty aggressive. We've got a lot of ground clearance here. Not sure what the exact number is, but I'm thinking somewhere like 9, perhaps, something like that. Looks like a double wishbone style suspension setup over here. See if we can take a look at it. A little bit hard to see. That's what it appears to be in the rear. We have a multi-link suspension setup. So in the back we can see we have this folding rear seat design. So this folds up. You get a lot more space in here. And actually behind the 2 passenger seats there is a lot of space back here. Let's fold this open. Fold this down, fold this back. And I'm gonna go sit in here. Pretty easy to do, yeah. So let's see how much space I've got in the back seat.
Did those fold flat?
Well, not flat to the floor, but they did fold flat, yeah. So sitting back here, I'm 5'9". I've got pretty decent headroom. I think probably good up to 6 feet. I've got a lot of knee room up here, and looks like I've got some heated seats back here. I've got a couple USB ports and some ventilation. Lots of knee room. Nice materials back here. I've got some nice simulated wood in here. I've got these little window shades, which is kind of a nice touch, and lots of nice textures in here too. So I've got the suede, which actually feels very, very nice, and these seats recline a whole lot back here too. No sunroof in the back, but in terms of having a 4-passenger experience, this is probably going to be better than the LX, which I found was a little bit constrained with the seats. So here's a smaller vehicle, but I feel like the rear seat has been pushed back a little bit more than it is in the LX. And in terms of practical cargo space, very, very, very big. So let's get in the front here. Got a little Lexus logo when you hop in. So sitting in the front, sorry all this bright light here, I've got a 14-inch display here, which is the new Lexus connected system, and I found the system to be very, very good in their other vehicles. It's very responsive. I think it's getting quite good. They've had it out for a couple years now. Now we don't have a lot of physical heating and ventilation controls. I do have the temperature gauge here. I've got the heat seat, the heating buttons, but that's about it. And just back over to here, we do have a traditional transfer case, so we got high-low transfer case over here, and we have a rear locker and a center locker too, which is kind of nice. Very nice steering wheel. We have a 12.3-inch display in front of the driver here, and a pretty classic Lexus looking steering wheel that feels quite nice to my touch. Lots of nice materials in here, sort of the suede. These are heated and ventilated, or heated and cooled. And just sort of back to the driving modes, I know we're jumping around quite a bit, but we do have multi-terrain select over here with crawl control. You're able to tow up to 8,000 pounds with this vehicle. And this should have like a pretty decent amount of power. This is so updated. This is so much nicer than the current GX. And look, we have a little cool box over here like the LX does, so you can cool your drinks just by pressing that button. Very comfortable vehicle. The seats seem really nice and supportive. So at the back we have this split window that opens up like this, so sort of this kind of design window, which is kind of a nice touch. And then in the back there's actually a ton of space back here. Let's see if this opens up. Oh, it's probably got to close that window. Let's see if it goes up. There we go. Yeah, there is so much space back here. I can easily sit in here without any difficulty at all. This is a very, very large, cavernous amount of storage space back here that you've got. And it looks like we have an AC outlet over here too, and a little bit extra storage underneath the floor. So super practical, and like I showed you earlier, those seats fold down too. If you enjoyed this, I'm going to have a video on the Lexus TX next, which is right over there. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. See you in the next one.